come in, sir?
आइए जल्दी.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good
sir.
morning. Please come.
Thank you, sir.
Jatin, you are from Jabalpur
Yes, sir.
and you studied in Devi Ahilya, Indore.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is Engineers Without Borders, where you worked?
So, Engineers Without Border is a non-profit organization. The main aim and objective of the organization is to provide engineering solutions to social problems.
To social problems.
Social problems of the society.
Okay, the borders in this context is beyond
Beyond
engineering.
the engineering field.
Engineering.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard of Doctors Without Borders?
Yes, sir.
And what was that
So,
concept?
it is a similar organization, a kind of which objective is the doctors should provide the services beyond the borders and for the social service.
No,
society.
in that case, Doctors Without Borders, what border does it refer to?
Exact reference I have. Sir.
And then, can we have Soldiers Without Borders?
Definitely, sir. So the UN peacekeeping force, which is provides it can be considered soldiers without borders.
Yes. Have you heard of the term mercenary?
No, sir.
Professional soldiers.
Soldiers of fortune.
Okay, sir. I was-
Professional soldiers. I mean,
Okay,
who
okay.
will fight for money.
Okay,
Employ them and they'll come and fight.
Fight.
There are mercenaries fighting in Ukraine also, as Russia alleges. Okay.
Armies of God in Africa is there. Wagner Group was fighting in foreign region, was fighting in Africa. So there is, but I think the major flaw is that Medicine Sans Borders is a very different context.
Okay.
Doctors go into battle zone, they go across international boundaries and
Yes.
do not work social work. They do medicine. Some of them have
Okay.
lost their lives combating Ebola, some have lost their lives in action. So that is a totally different category. But your answer was good about the UN peacekeeping. They are also soldiers without borders. But they are not technically soldiers without borders theoretically because they are deployed in a particular area. So the blueberries deployed in Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, are not fighting a war in northwestern Africa.
Yes, sir.
No, not in Burkina Faso. There. So they are theoretically an international force. That's one part. Now, you are from Jabalpur.
Yes.
Now, the point is Jabalpur has very many claims to fame. If you were asked to name the most eminent personality who's come out of Jabalpur, whom would you name?
So the current personality or the
No.
story?
From Anadikal se Aaj tak, from the beginning of
Okay.
time to present day.
Okay. So Devi Ahilya. Oh, sorry. Rani Durgavati.
Rani Durgavati
Durgavati
was
of
from Jabalpur?
Yes, sir.
Or was
Queen
she
of the
from
Gold
the region?
Kingdom.
The Queen of the Goddess was
Gold
there.
Kingdom, yes,
But
sir.
did she have her capital in Jabalpur?
Yes, sir. Gada Kingdom. Her kingdom was Gada Kingdom. It is in Jabalpur district right now, close to Jabalpur.
It is in Jabalpur district. That is what my problem is. I am talking of Jabalpur city.
Okay.
Nobody of eminence has ever come out of Jabalpur.
So Kiran Kher, film actress Kiran Kher is from Jabalpur.
You have a very selective short-term memory, I think. Kiran Kher, if you are remembering, is she from Madhya Pradesh?
Yes, sir.
Kiran Kher is married to Anupam Kher. But her ethnicity is Madhya Pradesh ethnicity. We'll leave it at that. Have you ever heard of a person called Rajneesh, Osho Rajneesh?
Yes, sorry. Yes, sir.
He was an international figure and at one time far more famous than any
Yes.
other cult guru, godman of his time.
Yes, sir.
So it doesn't come to your mind at all. Where have you studied?
So Christchurch Boys Senior Secondary School, Jabalpur. Schooling and engineering from IIT DVV Indore. Graduation from IIT DVV Indore.
All right. Can you tell me the commonality between Devi Ahilyabai of Indore, of the Holkar family, and Rani Durgavati? Or points of difference? There is an important point of difference and there is similarity. Would you like to reflect on that?
Can I take a moment?
Of course, yes.
Sir? So the point of similarity which I can recall is both became the queen after their husbands died. They were the successor of the kingdom, but due to their demise, they both became the queen of their respective kingdoms.
Did Maharani Ahilyadevi become a queen? Ever? You know the difference between a regent and a queen.
Sorry, sir.
There was a Mallarao Holkar.
Mallarao Holkar, yes, sir.
And he was theoretically the sovereign until he attained the age of majority. Anyway, what is the difference?
difference I am unable to recall.
Was Durgavati Devi, Rani Durgavati a tribal?
Yes, sir.
You
Tribal.
mentioned
Yes,
Gond.
sir. Yes, sir.
Ahilya Devi Holkar was not a tribal.
Yes, sir.
Number 2.
Maratha Kingdom.
Jabalpur has, to my mind, another. I have a fixation with Jabalpur. Forget about the ancient history. Forget about the spirituality. Jabalpur at one time was a very large concentration of Anglo-Indians. How did this happen and why did this happen? Jabalpur had an important role to play, shall we say, in the infrastructure during the British colonial times. I will not give you more clues.
Yes, sir. British introduced cantonment area, and Jabalpur was one of the key city for the British during their
Only
rules.
the cantonment British introduced where the concentration of Anglo. I was giving you another clue: Anglo-Indians.
Yes, sir.
Do you think there are cantonments where majority population was Anglo-Indians?
Exact, I am unaware, sir.
Do you know something about the railways in Jabalpur?
Western Railways headquarters is in Jabalpur, sir.
Absolutely. I'll pass you on to Mr. Saru.
Okay, Jatin, India will be hosting 2 very important summits this year.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you name them?
So one is the G20 summit which India will be hosting, and Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is being organized.
When I mean summit, I mean an international summit with international
With heads of
countries.
states. Parvasi
Heads of
is
state.
Is
resident,
resident
only
diaspora.
citizens.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization?
It's a SCO.
Who are the members of the SCO?
So India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan. India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, I guess, and rest I am unable to recall right now.
Shanghai and
The name is Shanghai.
Shanghai,
Cooperation
China. Okay, sorry, sir.
China and Russia.
China, Russia. Yes, sir.
What were the merits and demerits of the zero COVID approach of China? Because that was an outlier approach. Not many, probably no other country in the world except maybe North Korea was following that.
Yes, sir.
What were the positives and what were the negatives?
So China followed the zero COVID policy, which means that even if the one patient was positive, they have strict regulation and strict lockdown to separate the patient from the other community so that it can spread. But they were the merits. When the whole world was in the second wave and the third wave of COVID, China was less impactful relatively less impacted by the COVID. But the demerit is now, as they don't have the herd immunity and less of vaccination as the majority of the population has not been exposed to the virus. So now a new wave has emerged in China, which has impacted its economy and strategically it also. So it is the main demerit which
But
China
wasn't
faced.
the zero COVID also harmful to the economic
Yes, sir.
activity?
It did hamper the economic activity of China, sir, because the strict measures with the strict cut down, it isolated itself from the world, so it enhanced. And currently there are apprehensions of global recession, which is also related to the economic impact which China has, because China is the second largest economy.
So the global recession is coming because of
One of the impact
economic output declining in China.
China is the second largest economy and it is mostly export dependent. So most of the economies are dependent on China for raw materials and other equipment. So recession is China's economy is one of the reasons for global recession, sir.
Now India and China have been having certain issues since 2020, major issues I would say, leading to clashes and things like that. Yet our economic dependence on China seems to be rising. The trade deficit has now, what is the current level of the trade deficit and why is the trade deficit with China increasing all the time?
So current trade deficit I think is $100 billion.
Okay.
Around $100 billion, exact figures I am unaware of. So the current trade deficit has been rising because our economy is dependent on the raw materials which we receive from China. For example, we are the exporters of the pharmaceutical sector, but the APIs which we are raw material for needed, we import it from China. And the products of China are cost competitive, and it is why it is easier. China has the strength over the mass production and cost, which helps is to gain the market in different economies, and Indian economy is one such sector, sir.
So one effort that the government has been making quite strenuously is to make India a manufacturing destination.
Yes, sir.
And increase the share of manufacturing from the current 16-17% to at least 25%.
25%, yes.
What all the steps the government has taken to make this a reality?
Okay. So the first thing is government has introduced PLI scheme, production linked incentive, to enhance the manufacturing sector, which will boost the exports. And recently in September 2022, government has released the national logistic policy, which will, India faces a major challenge in logistics. So the policy is aimed to enhance the logistic cost, which will boost the export sector. And so thirdly, India is focusing more on the investment, and the domestic Atmanirbhar Bharat plan is being launched by the government for self-reliancy in our manufacturing sector to
Yes,
boost
but then,
exports.
foreign investors say that since you are going to, everything will be manufactured domestically, you are discouraging foreign companies from coming in because of high tariffs. How do you respond to that?
So, but it is not the case, I believe, because India is a manufacturing hub, and it also produces business processing organizations.
How is India a manufacturing hub? China is a manufacturing hub.
So India is becoming a manufacturing hub. We have also manufacturing industries, and the promotion of the government schemes will make India a manufacturing hub in the near future. And India is also Apple manufacturing industry is also placed.
Would you like to give concrete data about India's manufacturing sector? What is the contribution of the Indian manufacturing in total economy? What is the value? What are the industries? You are giving answer in generalizations.
Okay, sir. So the contribution of manufacturing sector is around 20% in the GDP. And
but you didn't answer my main question, that critics of Atmanirbhar Bharat, especially foreign corporations, are saying that Atmanirbhar Bharat means you will produce everything within the country, which means companies which have manufacturing bases abroad and want to sell to India will not be able to do so.
So it is not the case. India will, in Atmanirbhar Bharat, India will develop the indigenous products, but the companies outside will also have because it's about the competition, fair market, open market, so they will also have the right to compete within the market. And if their
but there is no right. As I said, India has some of the highest tariffs in the world.
Yes, sir.
Please receive the report by Mr. Arvind Subramanian.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay, I'll pass you on to Professor Tripathi.
Yeah, Mr. Jatin Jain.
Yes, sir.
It's very interesting that you have written that the playing cards, practicing zero waste lifestyle.
Yes.
As you know that we do talk of the zero waste lifestyle, but it sounds a bit utopian. So can you tell me that the 2, 3 or 4 the very important steps that everybody can take, which takes us closer to zero waste lifestyle?
So zero waste lifestyle means minimizing the waste.
No, you don't have to define what is it.
Give
Straight away
concrete
come to
steps. That's what he's asking you.
The easy to follow.
So the easiest steps we have to minimize the use of plastic, like water bottles, plastic water bottles. It can be replaced by steel or glass water bottles, or the alternatives is the bamboo material, which can be used as an alternative for the plastics. And secondly, sir, we have to minimize the usage of our energy, and we can convert to solar energy, renewable energy in our households for the electricity. And thirdly, sir, we can avoid using plastic in as many senses as possible.
You are coming back to plastic, and that's the only thing again in generalization. His question was specific. Give me 3 examples which I can use in my life to reach this utopian goal of. So ultimately, आप घुमा फिरा के plastic पे आ रहे हैं.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, let's change the question.
And in any case, plastic is not zero waste. Plastic is another problem, and another product, another problem. Zero waste.
So in our Indian culture, we have we don't waste our food. So food wastage is another thing we can consume.
Buying local, promoting local.
Local traditions, yes, sir. So it can be one of the
I'm
alternatives.
just changing the question. In response to the honorable member, you were talking about the G20. You are a student of sociology. I mean, you are also in sociology.
Yes, sir.
So from the social perspective and economic perspective, I'm asking you this question. More than 200 the meetings of the G20, the ministerial, technical coordination groups, it will be held in our country.
Yes, sir.
spread over the different cities.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not talking of the diplomatic aspect, but rather I'm talking of the social and economic and environmental aspect of that. Why we have organized in such a manner that we are taking into account different cities will be holding it. 56 actually, they're spread over 56 cities.
So India is a vast country with diverse culture. We are holding the summits with different events in different cities so that the world members can be aware of our cultural diversity, and
Is that the only goal?
it is one of the goals.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir. And the another goal is we can the summits will be held in different cities, so we can promote the local tradition and the local culture of the people living there.
And what will be the impact on infrastructure, economy, society?
So if summits is going to be held, so the government has to take steps for building, enhancing the infrastructure. The tourism will get promoted, so it will boost the economy. And if the global leaders are coming there, the local economy will definitely be boosted by the contribution of them. Local sectors, the tourism, the industrial promotion of will be there. India will be enhancing the basically soft power will be enhanced of the India by hosting the
What is
G20
soft
summits.
power?
So soft power means India.
Who gave the concept of soft power?
Exact name I am unable to. Joyce Noise something. Exact name I am unable to.
Thank you.
Sir.
When is your interview?
3rd of February, sir.
Plenty of time. You have almost a month.
Yes.
I think use the time well. I will leave it to the chairperson to give you specific how to use the time best. You play card, आप पत्ते लगाते हैं.
No, sir.
पत्ते लगाने का मतलब क्या होता है?
Like gambling, you are referring to.
पत्ते लगाने का मतलब gambling नहीं होता है. Can win a game without betting. Gambling is something different. What game in the cards do you play?
Sir, bridge challenge.
Well, how did bridge get its name? The game of bridge.
Sir, there are 4 north, south, east, west team pair.
How did the game of bridge get its name bridge?
It's a teamwork, team game. So that.
Where does the bridge come into?
Sorry, sir. Exactly.
There's a minor example. I would have gone into contract bridge and auction bridge. But I could have gone into suites and bidding and so on. But I'm not doing that to make you uncomfortable at this stage.
Yes.
I think what you have written in your DAF, and I will leave it for the chairman to explain to you, can create problems. You say playing cards. So why do you play bridge, not poker? Why do you play poker, not blackjack? Why do you play this? Why not rummy? Why not sweep? There are various kinds of things which your hobbies can lead into you.
Yes, sir.
Same thing happened to zero waste. You are very ill prepared for the zero waste questions at the moment. I'll leave it at that. I'll request the chairperson.
I think what you should do is can itself become a very interesting exercise. Pick up your DAF and identify potential questions hidden in every word that you have written.
Okay,
Starting from cards, playing cards. What are the 10 possible questions which can arise from cards? Identify yourself. You'll enjoy doing it.
Yes, sir.
And everything that you have written from your birthplace, where you stay, Ganjipura or Lord Ganj, every word that you have written has 5 to 10 questions hidden.
Okay, sir.
Identify them and find the answers.
Okay,
So
sir.
that will prepare you 80%. All right. Secondly, for your news and current affairs, read the newspapers thoroughly,
Yes.
like a textbook. We guys finish in 5-10 minutes. You have to spend 1 hour on every newspaper
Yes,
and take notes. In a diary, 5 items at least every day. At least. If you can do 6-7, that is even better. So, and 1 item, 1 page, keep on adding as the news develops.
Updates.
Okay, keep doing that. Finally, although your suit is very nice, but your shirt and your tie,
Yes,
and if you see in the CD and yourself in the mirror,
Yes,
you
sir.
need to have a
Change,
better tailored shirt,
Yes, sir.
better collar. It's
Yes,
not
sir.
even pressed,
Yes,
so
sir.
that's an attention to detail which,
Yes, sir.
and you have to shave on that day.
Okay, sir.
Are you there in the morning on the 3rd February or in the
Morning slot,
morning?
sir.
So even if you are number 1 and you have to leave home early, number 1, do shave.
Okay.
And do read the headlines
Of
of
the
that
newspaper.
day's papers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question?
No, sir.
Carry on.
Good luck
Thank
to
you.
you.
Good luck.
Plenty of time. You are a very smart
Yes,
candidate.
sir.
I mean, just use the time well
Okay,
to
sir.
substantiate your answers
Arguments.
factually, not opinions.
Okay.
In the recent times, the government has been propagating 5 hours of the zero waste.
Reuse,
So,
recycle.
5 hours.
Yes.
Read about it.
Okay, sir.
Good luck
Yeah,
to you.
and today it's so easy. Just Google zero waste. they will give you 100 points.
Yes, sir.
So, call out. Okay.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.